It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Tenby Harbwr Brewery, one of my favourite breweries in Wales. One of my favourite places to visit is Tenby, and to walk down what I like to call Brewery Lane, sit down, order a pint, sun's out. It's a small narrow lane. It reminds me of France, this place. And they have like buckets all the way down the lane with flowers growing out of them, and it's just a wonderful, idyllic place to sit and have a beer. So this beer is called Sea Bass. It's a Celtic Pale Ale, 3.9% ABV, 500ml bottle, white bottle cap. Without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass. So we've got a slightly hazy ale here with a one finger white head. Lovely aromas of a little bit of grapefruit, and yeah, straight away, as soon as you're pouring the beer out, for a 3.9% ABV beer, it's got lovely aromas to it. It's got that very kind of on-trend haze going on at the same time. Nice levels of carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. Is it a bottle conditioned beer? No, it doesn't look like. There's some carbonation stuck to the bottom of the glass, and I'm not sure if my eyes are going these days, but I'm looking at the bottom of the glass. I'm thinking, no, that's just carbonation. It's not sediment. So let's get the aroma on this. I'd say light, very light amber coloured ale. It's got some lovely malt qualities coming through. Wafer-like, biscuity-like. But then at the same time, it's a bit citrusy, grapefruity, orange peel-like. Smells great, absolutely great. For a 3.9% ABV beer, yeah, this smells terrific. Let's dive in. I must have dropped one of my hairs in my beer. That's never happened before. In over 8,000 reviews of beer, there's a little hair in my beer. Right, cheers everyone. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What I find with Tenby Harbour's beers is that they do tend to have a little bit of earthiness in there. Whether that's the malt that they use, might be the yeast strain that they're using. It's very biscuity, very bready. Fantastically malty, a little bit of sweetness at the beginning. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth, releases more of that flavour. It's lovely. And then to balance all of that off, I've talked a lot about the malt here, but to balance all of that malt off, you can then talk about the hops in the beer. That lovely little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of orange peel, but then there's some nice British, like berry-like hops coming through. Berry, maybe a touch of plum, a little bit of fig, but traditional, a combination of traditional British hops and maybe some New World American hops in there as well. But a fantastic beer, and it's held its own. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here. It's January 2023. I bought this in the late summer of 2022, so the beer's probably 4 or 5 months old in the bottle. There's a use by date of March 23, so it's in date. It's in date, but my point is it's held up really well, and it reminds me of being in that lane, even on a dang horrible, wet, drizzly end of January morning here in the UK. This reminds me of piping hot sunshine in Brewery Lane. So let me tell you a little bit about Tenby. We holiday there every year. My wife loves it. My wife is from Salisbury in England. Her favourite place in the world, I think, is probably Tenby. Every year she wants to holiday. We go down to Kiln Park, we rent a caravan for a week. It's within walking distance to the town of Tenby. We nip into Tenby. We either do a bit of swimming in the sea to begin with, get the kids an ice cream, walk around the historic walled city. But it always ends up with my wife giving me a little nudge, and she says, come on, we've done enough kind of kid stuff now, if you like. We've satisfied the kids long enough. Let's go and have a pint in Brewery Lane. And the really exciting thing for me is I'm standing here right now, having been there last summer, and they were building a gin distillery. And I know right now, while the season is quiet, they will be full on, hands on, building that gin distillery, ready for the new season, probably ready for Easter. So if anyone from Tenby Harbwr Brewery end up watching this video in the next few days, well done with the work. I've not been down since last summer. I'm really excited to come down and see the gin distillery. They're basically taking most of this lane. This lane it's about maybe 300-400 meters long. But they were all fishing. On the either side of the lane they were like old fishing buildings, like where people would store their boats, because it's right on the sea. And they were all getting, when I was younger, they were all derelict. They were all needing to be refurbished. And they have been. They've built a brewery down the lane. Now they're building a gin distillery. There's all sorts of small artisan businesses opening up. I think what I'd love to see a baker. I would love to see a baker in that lane. I just think that would be just absolutely fantastic. So think of this lane now. You've got brewers, gin distillers, bakers, all in this tiny, like, French-like lane. I say French-like lane because it does remind me of France, Tenby. It was built by the Normans, or the main town was built by the Normans. And you can see the French influence on the town. It's a lovely walled town, beautiful place, I love it. Right, sea bass, what are they saying about it? Many Tenby Harbor boats, both leisure and commercial, have been catching bass around Caldy Island for centuries. The bass that features in the design of this label was painted by talented artist Florence Super. You can see more of her work at florencesuper.co.uk. So they probably might be to do with the artist that's in the lane. I'm sure they've got a little building down there where they got an art studio. Right, rating for sea bass. Held up really well in the bottle. I really like it. I think it's a smashing pint. Something that I can see myself drinking plenty of in the summer when we go back down to Tenby. But yeah, I like that. I like that enough to give it an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.